In this basic PHP tutorial, I'm going to be talking to you about variables in PHP. Now, variables in PHP are very easy to use. They're very easy to declare. In fact, you don't need to officially declare them. You can just set them on the fly. And by this, I mean you don't have to. Let's say, for example, in JavaScript, I'd have to say var name equals, and then I have to assign a value. Again, in other programming languages, you have to actually declare your variable. What we basically do essentially is just create the variable on its own. For this example, I'm going to be using two variables. One is going to be my name, and one is going to be my age. I might include a few others along the way as well. So we start a variable with the $sign, and you can see in my text editor it's immediately turned green. This is green in my text editor is a variable. So I'm going to call this variable name. Now there are a few rules to variable names. The first rule is that it must be alphanumeric. So you can include capital letters and numbers. It can't start with a number, but it can start with an underscore, so you can include underscores in your variable names. So for example, that would be a valid variable name, as with that. However, one name, for example, would not be a valid variable name. So I'm going to create my variable name as Alex, and in this, in single quotation marks, I'm just going to type, the variable name is called name, and the contents of the variable is string data. I've included this in within two single quotation marks. The next I'm going to create is age, and this is going to be equal to 21. So you can see that I haven't included my single quotation marks here. The reason for this is an integer value. Now what we can do in PHP is we can also include sort of float and double values, so we can include a decimal point. So I could be, say, 21.5, but it all remains the same. We've created the variable name exactly the same, but we've just assigned it with a different value in the format it'd be found in. Now it's all well and good us creating these variables. Let's just pop over to the browser and refresh. You can see that nothing has happened whatsoever. The reason for this is we're not outputting anything. So if I say wanted to output a sentence and incorporate these variables into a sentence, I could start with echo. I'm going to do two single quotation marks. I could use double quotation marks, but I'll show you that in a minute. Now, single quotation marks, as discussed in my previous tutorial about echo, this is a faster, generally I think better way to use echo. I'm just going to simply type a sentence. So my name is, and I want the name here, and I am age years old. So what I essentially want to do, let's just put a full stop at the end, that's me being panicky. So my name is name. I essentially want to replace this here that you can see highlighted in blue with this contents of this variable, and the same with age. I want to replace that as well. Now the way I do this is I need to end what I've already started, so I need to end this echo here, and I need to start a new one. So I've ended this echoing here and I've started a new one. In between I want to type name, but this isn't going to work because it's going to produce an error saying that we need a semicolon here, and we also would need an echo here as well. So this might be confusing you, but all we do is we simply concatenate on. Now just to summarize, we've started our echo, we've echoed my name is, and we've included a space. We've ended it, but then we've concatenated with a full stop name. So we've concatenated the value of this variable, and concatenation basically means just joining two things together. So we've joined the start of this, so my name is, then we've joined in the contents of my variable name, which will be Alex, and then we've joined on the end of our sentence. So I'm just going to put a space there so to keep this nice and tidy. So we do exactly the same with age. Now I've got a really good tip for doing this. All I do is I simply delete everything, I put two of these, two dots, and then I type my variable name in. Okay, so we can put our spaces in there. So again, we're continuing this sentence on. We're ending the output of the string, our static string, and we're concatenating on our variable, and then concatenating on the end here, and then we're ending our line with a semicolon. So let's just refresh and see what happens. Okay, so you can see my name is Alex and I'm 21 years old. Now obviously we can change things like this. So if I was to type, say for example Dale, and then type 49, and I refresh, you can see that will automatically update the sentence. So you can see how useful variables are in Essence, and also how easy they are to use in PHP. Now, what if I wanted to make my life a lot easier and include these variables without all this concatenation business? You're going to kill me after this, because this is a lot easier way to do it. Start with double quotation marks. All I need to do is start out my sentence, my name is, and then I can just simply include the variable inside it. No concatenation, no ending of the strings that we're echoing, nothing. And I am age years old, and that's basically it. So by adding double quotation marks in, we've automatically, there you go, nothing's changed. So let's just change this back to me. Nothing's changed, everything's still working, but we've used double quotation marks for a lot easier way to echo out variables. The only reason I wouldn't recommend using double quotation marks is if I wanted to say echo out some HTML inside, so image type equals, I'm not going to be able to use double quotation marks. I'm going to have to use single quotation marks because they're going to interfere. I mean, I could use double quotation marks and cancel out each one, as shown in my echo tutorial, but it's just a lot of a slower process. So for me personally, I'd rather concatenate variables into this rather than faff around with cancelling out anything else. So at the end of the day, it's completely up to you, but this is how variables basically work. We can take, for example, things like Boolean variables, so we can say true equals true. So that's a Boolean value there, it will either be true or false. We can do, again, decimal values, so we can do 5.5, etc. You can any variables that you know of, they can be sort of included into standard variables, and to do this we just use our $ and then the variable name following the rules. So that's basically variables inside PHP.